Hey everybody. It's been a long time since I did a live here on YouTube. I didn't do one this weekend. Usually I do it on Facebook, but I got so busy. Um so I'm gonna wait for a whoa, Bernadette, are you here? I see a bunch of people. I see people here already. Esmeralda, ready and waiting, sir. I hope you guys are still waiting here. I did come here at 9 o'clock on the dot. So and the reason why it's so late today was because it took me longer to set up for today's live stream because I haven't done a live here on YouTube for a long time. But can you guys hear me okay? I don't know if you can hear me. I have had problems with hooking up with my mic with YouTube. So I hope you guys can hear me. I have a new setup now, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. And I see Shell. We're happy to see and hear you. So you can hear me, right, Shell? I'm so glad you could join. You guys are amazing for the people that are here already. There's 8 people here. And Sherry, you can hear me. Oh, I'm so glad you could join. Hey, Farhana, you made it. Farhana, I know you've been waiting, so I'm finally doing it. That's why I had to message you on Instagram to let you know that I'm here because you've been you've been telling me, "Oh, I can't wait for your live," and I felt so bad that I couldn't go live, but I'm here today. I am finally here, but connection is a little off. Is it lagging? Yes, can hear you. Okay, you know what? It might be my internet actually. Is it lagging, guys, or it's kind of smooth? Okay, at least you can hear me fine. But is it like well, maybe I just have to wait a little bit. You guys, how you guys doing? How was your weekend? I didn't get to guys. I didn't get a chance to see you guys this weekend, so I didn't. I've been pretty busy. I've been wanting to do a lot of things because I'm still healing, right, guys? You guys know about my. You guys have lag. Hey, Kelly, how's it doing? Is it lagging big time? Is it lagging big time? I don't know how I'm gonna fix this. You know what? Maybe it is my internet connection. Is my voice not matching with my lips? Oh, it cuts in and out. You know what? I don't know if I actually try. Hey, Esmeralda, how are you doing? I can try shutting off my Wi-Fi and then turning it back on. Happy to see you too, Farhana, and see if I'm actually still connected. And if not, because I don't want to talk for like the longest time, and then you guys, it's difficult for you guys to, because who wants to watch a video when it's cutting in and out all the time, right? It's lagging, can't hear you. Okay, hold on. You know what? I'm going to try this. I'm gonna try refreshing my internet. So if I do get logged off, guys, I am going to. No, it's not cutting. No, it's not cutting in and out. Is it still freezing, Kelly? I just want this to be smooth, so I'm willing to. Okay, okay, Chris. Hey, Chrissy, you made it. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna try shutting off this Wi-Fi, turn it back on, and if for some reason it shuts off, I'm going to re-upload this live, and then you guys can join again. Okay, I'll send. What? Oh, okay, it's coming in clear now. Is that happening for everybody? I'm breaking a little bit. Oh shit! I'm afraid to touch this Wi-Fi button because I don't want to get kicked out. But okay, 10 seconds. What do you guys? How are you? How is the lag on your side before I turn off this Wi-Fi? You are good on my end. Not as bad from Kelly. Sure, you are good on my end. Shell for Hana. How about you guys? You know what I like about the YouTube lives is that the chat room is a little smaller, right? So you can ask me all the questions you want. I'm not gonna miss your chats because I can see it right here. And the group is a lot smaller as you can see than my Facebook live. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to swing them by me because I will be talking about my quote that I wrote. No, I can hear you now, Esmeralda. Not as bad. Kelly, is it better for you? Oh my gosh. So we spent it's better now. You know what? It probably is my Wi-Fi. It probably is. Or maybe it's our positive energy connected together as one. Chrissy. Okay. So okay, since okay, once if it starts to like lag, I'm just let me know and then I'll stop this. Okay, don't go. Okay, Esmeralda, I won't go. I'm staying right here. But you guys can hear me clearly, right? Like there's no oh man. This so far. I just want to tell you something. Before I was doing this live, I was sitting on my front porch, okay, having my coffee, and the other day the skunk. walked right by me, okay? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do?" And it ran off, and I was like, "Oh, thank God it didn't, thank God it didn't spray me," right? Okay, no lag, perfect. Okay, so, right before this live, I was sitting on the front porch. Okay, great, thank you so much for your updates, guys. And this another skunk, like, literally came right in front of my face. It was a foot away, turned around, looked at me straight in the eye, and had his and put his tail up. And I was like, "I can't believe I'm gonna get sprayed right before my live stream," right? Thank God the skunk decided not to spray me, and then he took off. So, I'm just thinking, if I got sprayed by that skunk, I wouldn't be here doing my live right now. So, thank you, skunk, for not spraying me. So, I just wanted to tell you that because that was I've been running into, like, the weirdest like, every time I sit on that front porch, there's some animal that walks by me, okay? Like, literally a foot away. There was a raccoon the other day, and then a cat, and it goes on and on. So all systems a go. Thank you so much, Chrissy. No, right now, but no, I can hear you perfectly. Okay, so that means it is my internet. Everything's good now. So before I get started on talking about my quote, I just wanted to give you an update on my healing process. And I've been trying to do as much as I can to respond to all the comments from my quotes and all my posts and stuff. And I've just been trying to heal myself and trying to rest as much as I possibly can. It's been almost 2 months for my neck injury, which basically the pain traveled down my shoulder and then my arm area to my forearm and on the front of my hand, right? So it has been painful. Um, and like I said in my last live, it felt like I took 2 steps back. So, a lot was going up in my mind too as well. Yeah, I know that would have stung. I would have been really stinky right now. But yeah, but like when you get to a situation where you're just like, oh, why did this happen? Because I was like, at my prime, I was working out and everything. And now I haven't worked out in almost 2 months. And it really affected me up here. And I've been pushing myself every single day and just telling myself, wait, Roger, be patient. Your body knows how to heal. And so I've been doing my best. But it is much better now. It's like 99%. I'm hoping that I can start working out this weekend. I can finally sleep without any pain. And I can start doing things. I started cleaning the house again. I start doing all the things that I usually do on my routine, my daily routine, right? That I most of it I couldn't do because I was in so much pain. And because this pain was restricting me from doing a lot of things, right? So, now I'm able to now I can do my live on YouTube. I still have to do my podcast, episode 2, and I know that since today's topic is about time, I'm going to you know, spend that time, not work myself too hard, but I know that I do still have to catch up on what I did miss, right? Uh, Esmeralda, you look so handsome, my sweet different. Oh, thank you so much, Esmeralda. I don't have my sunglasses on. So another good thing about my YouTube lives is that you don't I don't be wearing my sunglasses. I can't believe it has been that long. I know, right, Shell? It's like I honestly thought that it would only last a month, but it's just like now it's been since all these days have passed by, it just seems like, it hasn't really affected me up here anymore because I know I'm getting really close to recovery. But yeah, I know it sucks, just having, I mean, everyone goes through injuries and just knowing that you're not 100% healthy really can affect the way you think and your mindset and everything, right? So, if you're dealing with something right now where you're having pain, I know by talking to a lot of my followers, they have pain every single day, and it's tough for them to get up and their anxiety starts from that, right? Because of the health issues. So, just tell yourself that, your body does know how to heal depending on what you have, right? But you have to also use the time you have every single day as much as you possibly can, the given time that you have every single day to do as much as you can for yourself, right? And I'm going to dive into that more because that's what today's quote is about, right? Congratulations on all of your subscribers. Thank you, Farhana, for this is my New Balance shirt. Farhana always compliments on my t-shirts. Thank you so much, Farhana. Yeah, also thank you for everybody. I know you guys are all subscribed probably, but for I'm almost at 7,000 subscribers and like 250, only 250 away, guys. And you know that when I hit 7,000, you guys are all going to get a free ebook, right? Like not the ones that I've already created for. This is going to be a brand new ebook. It's called Strength. So I have to get started on that ASAP because at any time, like within the week, that 7,000 could be a reality for me. So I have to. I see. Luckily, I'm a little bit better now, so I can start actively doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, which I felt uncomfortable doing. Like even sitting down on this chair right now was painful for me. And yeah, it was just tough to try to push myself. Roger, come on, you got to keep working, got to keep working. But at the same time, you don't want to push yourself too hard because if you don't want to re-aggravate some sort of pain and make this thing that make it longer than it should be, right? So I was supposed to work out today, but I'm thinking, maybe Saturday might be a better day, Friday, so Kelly, where are you from, Kelly? By the way, Esmeralda, I bought me a T-shirt that says "Your Mind Matters." Oh my gosh, you got to show me a picture of that, Esmeralda. It's not my from my store, is it? Because I have a bunch of T-shirts from Your Mind with Your Mind Matters, but I'd love to see if it's not one of mine because yeah, it's amazing. But I didn't wear that shirt today because this is one of my favorite brands that I wear, New Balance. So yes, definitely Esmeralda, show me a picture of that T-shirt. I really want to see it. So I this quote I'm going to talk about today. You guys probably have seen it, especially for those. That is marvelous. Thank you so much, Chrissy. I'm so glad you joined, Chrissy. This is one of my favorite quotes that I wrote. If you've been following me for a long time, like Shell and Farhana have, you've probably seen me post this quote many times. And you guys, I printed it and put it out on a frame. So you guys have seen this, right? It's appreciate every moment of your life because one day you'll wish you had more time, right? And another thing about this is I love the photo. And this is I think one of the first times I actually like when I started designing quotes, I had to find out what is it that I can design that people can look at and they can recognize and say, "Oh, that's an RLQ, that's a Roger Lee quote," right? And this bold right here at the bottom, this is like one of the first ones I did with this one or two word bold in big letters that I have at the bottom. You know how it's usually small, regular font here, and then boom, it's like big. That's me. This is like one of my. If I'm sure if you guys seen my quotes now, you guys could probably recognize. If you didn't see this RLQ at the bottom corner, you probably could tell that it's one of my quotes, right? So this is a very. I'm very proud of this piece. This reminds me of me when I was just walking. I used to walk a lot. Like I used to when I was going through my anxiety and depression days, I had a lot of time to myself, right? So and the reason was because I was lost. The reason why was because I felt like, there was nothing for me to look forward to anymore in the future. I could never find my happiness again. I was never going to heal myself from my anxiety and depression, and I was going to be stuck in this position for the rest of my life, right? And when you have that mindset, when you're telling yourself that, you don't really even care about time because you don't even want to wake up, right? And some of you may be feeling that sometimes or have felt that way where you just wake up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to go on with the day because my life sucks right now. It's like nothing is going right for me," right? And you just want to stay in bed. You don't want to wake up. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to There's so much you can do for yourself to make your life better, but you just because of what's happening in that current in that current moment, it makes you feel like it's not worth it to do anything or try anything because you've been let down so many times. Every time you've tried to do something to make your life better, life has throws something at you again, and it's like, when are these walls going to stop landing in front of me? Right? How many hurdles do I have to jump over before I can start moving forward and everything is going to be better for me? Right? So this is what I was feeling. I'm gonna go chat again. Many days your quotes. Mary Ann, hey, how are you doing? I got some new people here. Many days your quotes get me through the day. Thank you for them. You're very welcome, Mary Ann. I'm so glad that they can do that for you. Bernadette, there you are. I was talking to you early, Bernadette, because I saw you. You're like waiting, and then I was like, she's got to be here. So Bernadette, I'm so glad you joined. I love you so much, and thank you so much, Bernadette, for your amazing support. Esmeralda, okay, I will take a pic of it and send it to you. Had it made on Amazon. No way, really? Oh, wait, Esmeralda, message me on Facebook or Instagram. You can send me an image of it. I'd love to see it. For Hannah, wow, that's my favorite quote. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite quote. So, why did I write this? I was thinking this is one of my first quotes, actually. Maybe the first half a year when I was writing quotes. and I was just going through my time during my anxiety and depression. I was picking out pieces, picking out like little stories that happened to me through my journey, and I wanted to write something to remind people about something really really important, right? And it was about time, right? When we're young and we're little, we look at time. We don't even actually look at time because time is just something that we just feel like we have a lot of because we are young, right? And as you get older, as you start experiencing more things in life, you know, in your teens, you still feel like you have a lot of time, right? Party now and then, work hard later and then, hopefully you'll be successful, but I'm going to enjoy my time now as I'm a teenager. And they don't really think about time as well during that. But once you get a little older, when you're in your 20s, then you start thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm a little older now and I haven't done the things that I want to do. I'm not happy with my life. And then you start to think about time a little bit more. Then when you get a little bit older in your 30s and your 40s, then you start telling yourself, "Oh my gosh," like, I'm not sure if you're thinking of this, is that if you're thinking that you have your lifespan's about 80 and hopefully it's 100, right? You're already halfway done, and you're telling yourself, "Oh my gosh, what did I do for my whole life? Have I found out what I love to do? Have I found my happiness? Did I achieve as much as I really wanted to? And these are the things that I started to think about. But when I was going through my anxiety and depression, how do you add each and every beautiful wallpaper with a beautiful quote? I am going to get to that part, Hannah, to answer your question. Because there's a lot of things that I had to go through to actually find out how to make a quote look like a Roger Lee quote, right? So there's a lot of trial and error, but I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So during that time when I was going through that anxiety and depression, like again, when I was talking earlier in this live, I was telling you that I didn't really care about time, right? Because I really didn't care about the day. I didn't care about myself. So if you don't care about yourself, you don't care about the day, you don't care about time. It's like life is boring, and life is just something that it's like there was nothing for me to look forward to, right? Even though I have a beautiful wife. I have an amazing, loving mother, my brother, my family, my kids. I had all of these great things. Like I have a house to live in and all these things. I wasn't thinking about any of this stuff, okay? Because I was just thinking about how bad my life was. So that made me feel that why even bother, right? Why even bother working on myself when I've already created this future that I'm never going to heal myself? That was the one thing that stopped me from doing anything, right? And you guys know that when I talk about like when I stopped loving myself, when I stopped doing all the things that brought me joy and happiness, like how I like to work out and clean the house and go out and do all these things, right? I stopped doing all of those things, right? And then one day, I was walking. I took out like remember I said I like to walk, right? I I I I was like, I wonder if my family would miss me. For some reason, I wanted people to feel sorry for me. And if you've been dealing with anxiety and depression, you might go through a stage where you might feel that as well, where it's like you want to be loved, but even when somebody, tries to show you that they love you, it doesn't really click. I don't know if you understand what that feels like, but I just wanted people to feel sorry for me. I don't know why, right? And so I left my house and I took off without telling anybody where I went, and I just walked to the park, right, which was right across the street, but I went all the way to the end, and I was sitting on top of this hill, almost like this guy here standing on the hill. And I was crying my eyes out, thinking about my life. I was thinking about how what a failure I was and how bad of a father I was. Like I'm not going to be able to enjoy those precious moments with my kids anymore. I can't go out with my wife anymore. My kids don't talk to me anymore, and my house was so quiet. Like I would like my family used to be so happy. Like this is when I was going through my anxiety and depression, and every day I wake up, the house was silent because all my kids would just stay in the rooms, and my wife would be going to work. She'd come home, and the first thing she would do was like she'd run up to her room, and I don't blame her for ignoring me because I was kind of a nuisance, right? And that was my life for almost 2 years, right? So I was sitting on this hill thinking about all of that and thinking about how I just wanted to love again and want to be happy, and I knew that it was going to happen. And all of a sudden, I looked. far in the distance, and I saw my mom, my son, and my daughter walk into the park, and they were looking for me. They were looking for me, and right at that moment, I bawled. I started to cry because I was like, I I can't believe I'm walking away from this. This these people, my family, they love me, right? What am I doing? Right? Why am I telling myself that I can't have happy moments with them anymore? Why am I telling myself that I can't make my mom laugh anymore, or my kids smile, and I can't have happy Christmas moments or anything with them anymore, right? Because I started thinking like, oh, when my daughter graduates, I'm not going to be there. When my kids get married, I'm not going to be there. When they need me to do something, I'm not going to be there, right? Because I felt like a disappointment to them. I wasn't the father figure that I h- so t- like I tried every single day to be the best father as I possibly could, right? I think that's one of my missions, right? It's just to be the best dad, right? And I think it hurt me that I wasn't in that position anymore to be able to be that person anymore, to be that loving dad, right? So I sat there, and when they came and approached me, and they were like, Daddy, we were looking for you for so long, right? It's kind of like I'm so glad we found you, right?" And I went home that day to think about everything, about the thoughts that I was thinking about, and I told myself, Roger, you need to do something. You need to really, really focus on what you really need to do to make changes happen in your family, not just for yourself, but because once you start changing yourself, everything around you is going to be affected as well. My goal was to make my family happy again. I wanted my life back, right? And not only did I want my life back, but I also wanted to be a better version of myself, right? Because this is the time when I was reading quotes. I wasn't thinking about writing quotes yet, but I was reading a lot of quotes, collecting a lot of quotes, right? And it made me understand that this time that we have is so precious, right? You've heard it so many times before about no one is guaranteed tomorrow, right? You just don't know, right? And you also heard about this quote where they say, "Live today like it's your last day." Like I know it's when I first read that, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of harsh," right? But if you have the mindset, if someone told you that this meteor was going to hit the planet Earth and you have 1 month to live, what are you going to do? Are you going to try to fulfill your life as much as possible, to do as much as you can within the 30 days before the world explodes, to do as much as you can that you wanted to do, but you were too scared to do, right? There are so many things that we all want to do, but then there are a lot of things that we're so afraid of. Taking that first step is an example of getting things done for yourself, to see what it is on the other side of that bridge that you're so afraid to cross, right? And I had so many of these things. Like when I had my concussion and I had all these symptoms, I was so scared to do a lot of things because of my sensations, right? So that's why I was like, you heard me say that, right? I was like a bubble boy. I didn't want to do anything, right? So I was scared, but I brought everything back. Once I started healing myself, I started challenging myself again. I said, Roger, you got to do this again. You got to do this again. I had the mindset of I have nothing to lose. That's because I was so determined to find my happiness again, to heal myself, that I said that if I can just get myself back into rhythm, get my start doing the things that I pushed away, and my family included, right? I pushed my family aside to bring all that back into my life, then I believe that that is the right, thing to do, to set me on the right path to start moving forward, right? And it worked. I stopped, you know, I stopped thinking about those negative thoughts that I always talk about, that voice that you're listening to. Are you listening to the negative voice that's telling you all these bad things about your life and how you're going to fail and how you're not going to, get better at anything, that you're worthless or you're useless or and all those bad things, or you're listening to that little voice that's really hard to hear, that's telling you to stay strong and that yes, there are going to be better days ahead of you. That yes, your life can get better, right? Are you listening to that voice? And I started to, the more I kept thinking about that day when I was on top of that hill, the more I started to say, Roger, you need to spend as much time as you possibly can to get better, to find a way so that you can heal yourself from this, because it's not over. Your journey is not over, even though you may think it. This is just a chapter. I started reading a lot of quotes about chapters and how it's your story, and how if you have the pen, you can start creating your own story, right? I was letting my mind hold the pen for me. It was writing my story. I was reading it and believing everything it was telling me, and that's why my life ended up like it did, because I was listening to the wrong voice. But as soon as I started to take take hold of that pen, because I knew that it was available for me to grab, because I had the power to choose to hold that pen, and that I had the choice. I can make these choices every single day to start writing better things on this blank page that I'm giving every single day, which is the day that you're awake, the given amount of time that you are awake, right? What are you going to do during that time to make a difference in your life? Right? Are you spending all that time focusing on those negative thoughts and believing what it tells you, so that your future is going to be dark? Or are you going to take control of your life by holding the pen and write something positive on that blank page and start painting a canvas, a beautiful canvas for yourself, so you can start picturing it, right? And you can start creating a path for yourself, so you can start walking towards that destination of your happiness, right? You have to start creating it for yourself, right? Chrissy, similar sentiments to what I am experiencing now, Roger, regarding them. Is it your library room? No, actually, this is my great room upstairs. I need to. This is usually where I film, but no, this is my setup for most of my lives and my videos. So I'm thinking about changing it around for my next podcast. So hopefully I can do that. After this video, I will send you a pic of my shirt. It's black and white letters. Awesome, Esmeralda. I can't wait to see it. Chrissy, let me if you want, you could tell me what you're dealing with right now. I know some of it might be a little bit personal, but you could write it here in the chat, and I could talk about it. And because who knows, anyone that's watching this right now could be dealing with something similar to you, Chrissy. And if I talk about it, then we can all share our thoughts and input on the situation, and hopefully I can say something that can help you, think about it, right? Because it helps when someone has experienced it or knows something about it or can say something positive, so you can start thinking differently up here in your mind, right? Because it is so important of what is going on up here. It really is. Like, the past 2 months has been not too easy for me, okay? To just honestly, to be telling you the truth, because that pain was so excruciating that I was sitting there telling myself that, oh, I want to work so much, I want to help people, I want to, there's so many things I want to do, but at the same time I was like, oh my gosh, this pain is so unbearable. And I was at a point where I didn't, there was one day I just didn't want to do anything, because I couldn't stand the pain, right? But I pushed myself, because I knew that I had a responsibility, right? And the one thing that I love to do was to help people. So I did it, and I continued doing that. I pushed myself, right, to get as much work as I possibly can. And I couldn't have done it, right, if I was working up here with that strong mindset, right? So if you can start strengthening your mindset, which I talk about a lot, right? It'll be a lot easier for you to get through this really dark chapter of yours, if it is that dark, right? And hopefully that you'll be able to like those better days. I know it's hard when I talk about, oh yeah, there's always going to be the brighter days. Stay strong. It's coming for you, and it's like, it's so easy to say and so nice to hear, but when is it going to happen? I think that the one question we always ask is when, right? And that's where the patience kicks in, right? We all have to be patient, right? Good things happen to those who wait, right? Great things can happen. Amazing things can happen, right? You just gotta hang in there, hang in there. Beautiful story by a best father. That is, I the reason why I think that way, and there's nothing against my father, because my father was an amazing man, loving father, but he worked so hard because he wanted to provide for the family, right? He didn't spend a lot of time with us, with my brother and my sister, but he tried. Like he would take us out to a movie on a blue moon. He would buy us things sometimes, but he was very quiet. Like there wasn't a lot of time where he would be sitting us and he'd joke around with us, and he wouldn't do all those things that maybe some kids wish that their father could have done for them, right? And that is not because he was a bad father at all. He was a loving father, and you knew that, he showed it by working his butt off every single day to make my mom happy. He treated my mom like a queen, right? My mom would come home and she'd buy all these things, and my dad would just be like, look at her and just, okay, okay, he wouldn't even like yell at her or something, right? That's how much he loved my mom, right? So I looked at that as my experience as a kid, and I told myself that one day if I do have kids, I want to try to communicate with them as much as possible. I wanna make sure that when they get older, that, I don't wanna be the one telling them what to be in their future. I want them to choose something that they want to be, that's going to make them happy. When my kids came up to us, and my daughter was, "I wanna get into linguistics, I wanna teach English," and my wife and I were just like, "Yeah, go ahead. This is what you love, this is your passion, this is what you believe and what you wanna do in your future. Go ahead. No problems, no issues. My daughter wanted to go into film. Go ahead. That makes her happy. I think that's the most important thing. And this reminded me of, I just finished watching a series on Netflix, called Sky Castle, right? It's this Korean drama about these rich uh, parents, which are all doctors. Well, the father is like a doctor, and they want their kids to be doctors as well. So they use all this money to try to get them into the best universities, and they're making sure that they're studying every day, and not skipping class, and just all that pressure. Okay, this is for all the you that have kids may not understand what I'm talking about. They're pressuring their kids to become doctors. And most of these kids, they don't want to be a doctor. They're just doing it because their parents want them to be. And it deals with what the struggles that these students, like high school students, are going through, because they become suicidal, right? They're not happy because it's not what they want. It's just because it's what their parents want. And Shell, if you know what I'm talking about, your mom was doing something like that to you, right? And that's where you said, "That's enough, mom." Like, I want to do what I want to do. Because what you want me to be, I can't see myself being happy doing it, right? And now, Shell, you are in the best place ever. You are so happy. You made that decision, even though it was super hard to break ties with your mother, right? And you tried to get back to, and build that relationship back, but it unfortunately that didn't work. But as long as you're happy, Shell, that's the best thing. And so that reminded me of that. So yes, for Hunt, to go back with the whole father thing, it is one of the most important things to me to try to, like, and now that I've healed myself, and now that my family is much better than it was before, a lot better, I can look forward to, the weddings, hopefully my kids get married. I'll be there, to enjoy that moment, those Christmases that we have now. I don't have to be lying down on a couch downstairs while my family's celebrating it without me, as I'm crying on my bed. I mean, crying on the couch downstairs. That happened to me, right? I actually can start enjoying those happy moments with them again. And I look at time very, very differently now. I that's why, like, I right when I get up in the morning, I think about what I need to do. Actually, I think about it before I go to sleep. What am I going to do? So when I wake up, I'm already prepared, right? After my coffee break for Hana, which reminds me, coffee. Um, and I literally almost work the entire day. And some of you may be asking, like, "Roger, how come you're, like, posting at, like, 7 in the morning?" It's, like, 7 at night, and I'm like, "Because I literally am still up." I'm watching TV. That's, like, my me time. I sit there and I watch TV, but sometimes I can't help but to work and watch TV at the same time, right? Because that's how much I love what I do, right? Because I finally, after all those years trying to figure out what I wanted, what my passion is, right? What does it feel like to wake up in the morning to love what you do? You guys know that I had a very, very successful comic book publishing company with my brother, very, very successful. But there are days when I woke up, like, even though it was very successful, and I should be very proud of myself because we accomplished so many great things. I still woke up in the morning and I still didn't want to go to work because it was like we created such a huge company that it was like there was so much politics involved, and it was just so I go into the office, and people are just like, "Roger, can you do this? Why is this happening? Blah, 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 blah." And I don't think I was built for that. I didn't I just it wasn't it's like it was such a beautiful thing that we created, but it would just didn't feel like it was me. You know what I'm trying to say? But when I first discovered that I was able to write quotes and I was able to help people, right? To help people. That was something that I always wanted to do when I was a child, because I was always interested in people. I didn't know really why, right? All I knew that my mom taught me to always be kind to people and to love people and be compassionate and to help people, right? And then as I was growing up, that's what I did, right? And then when I had my anxiety and depression the whole world came crashing down on me, I started to hate the world. I started to hate people. I started to hate myself. And there's so much hate, right? I started to hate time because I thought the day was so boring and there's nothing for me to look forward to, right? And so, and then I started to become grateful, right? Wait, I'm gonna check the chat here. Roger, I hate to do this, but I have to go. 5:30 comes way too soon. So glad we got to see you a little bit. Have a great evening. Hugs and love. I'll see you soon, Shell. But thanks for joining and listen. You can always go back and rewatch the live, okay, Shell? Love you and Bean. Sherry, thank you for sharing your vulnerability and inspiration. Each of us is going through something. It is a daily battle. Optimism, resilience, and perseverance will prevail. It is definitely so true. And that is something, especially when you're going through adversity, that is like the hardest thing to tell yourself to keep going and that everything's going to be okay. And that's why I need to write quotes about strength all the time, because that's what it's about. It's about reminding yourself how strong you really are. That is it even possible for you to get to that point where you're gonna finally find your happiness, where you're gonna finally have that peace of mind that we're mostly all searching for? Yes, it is. It is. It definitely is. And that's where that patience comes in as well. So it's not it's about like going through that journey of me going through anxiety and depression. I learned so much. There were so many little pieces that I had to pick out and like all the things that happened to me, and that's where I was able to take all those little pieces, put them together to create some sort of formula where that I can start teaching people how to start from like rock bottom, because that's where I came from, right? To healing yourself to a place where you can become happy again, to a place where you're actually a better version than you were before you became depressed and before you had anxiety. That is something that a lot of people believe that is not possible. I was one of those people that I thought it was impossible to heal myself, impossible for me to smile and to have happy days again, right? So I made it my mission to prove myself wrong. I literally, like, when I started to get that mindset where I was like, I have nothing to lose, that's when I said, you know what? Go out there, Roger, do something about your life. And when you do something and you achieve it and you overcome this darkness of yours, you're going to be rewarded. And with that reward, with those lessons, those life lessons that I learned, you're going to take those lessons and you're going to teach people and you're going to tell people about your story. You're going to tell them, right? Just because you have anxiety and depression, and the title of my series on YouTube is not the end, right? It's not the end, because if you're dealing that with that right now, you might be telling yourself that it might be that this is how you're going to be living the rest of your life with this darkness, right? And it's the toughest thing to go through. It's the toughest thing to try to wake up in the morning to tell yourself that, you know, one day it's things are gonna be better. One day this darkness is gonna to leave my life and I'm going to be able to breathe again, to live my life again, right? The hope. That my next episode of anxiety depression is not the end. Is going to be about losing hope. Okay, because this is going to happen to so many people that are going through a really dark time, almost where you just feel like you just want to give up. Right? Hold on a second. Yes, never give up, even in the darkest time. That is so true to Arhana. But which color do we use in that canvas? It depends on situation of mind. Depends on what colors, because everyone looks at colors differently, right? Some people may think black is like energetic to them, right? Some people, but I'm pretty sure most people think black as darkness or whatever. But it depends, right? It depends on what is the energy it gives you when you look at that color. Focus on those colors that enlighten you, that glow. The colors of the rainbow, right? Those are the colors. Paint that painting, whatever colors can give you that love energy, right? Because we can't the thing about energy is that we can't see it, but we can feel it, right? So if I'm talking to you right now and you're feeling some sort of energy, some sort of motivation, some sort of inspiration or even a little bit more hope, right? That is that energy that I'm sending you, right? And hopefully you can take this energy, you can absorb it and use it. Use this energy that I'm giving you so that you can start working today, right? Today and tomorrow, tomorrow can even be a better day for you because of this energy, right? So, yes, look at those color, whatever color makes you feel that makes you happy and feel like you can breathe. I think that that's important, that to be able to go, like when you're meditating and you're in a space where nothing matters to you anymore out in the outer world because you're so in tune with your inner world. That is where you want that's where that place you want to feel like you want to be in, right? So pick that canvas for yourself, right? um where is it with Sherry? Chrissy, are you still there? Are you still listening? Okay, so yeah, so this quote was like really, really, really important to me. I think the first time I posted it, it really got a lot of attention because I think it was during the time of during the pandemic, right? And I think a lot of people, when they read it, there was a self realization about what it really meant to them, because here we are with this at that time, everyone was getting it, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, weren't able to uh especially the elderly. They didn't make it, right? So it made people think that, oh, what if I caught it? All the things that I wanted to do in the future, I might not be able to do it anymore because I might get this, and then it makes you start thinking up here. And I think a lot of people started to get anxious about their life, right? And they got depressed, right? Because no one ever thought that we'd ever go through such a huge pandemic that affected the entire world, right? So it gave a moment for us to really think about time, and once, everything started to get a little bit better, I think it's affected a lot of people, and they're telling, you know what, I got to go and I got to start exercising. I got to go and I got to spend more time with my family and friends. I got to do as much as I possibly can before my time runs out, right? Because if we go back into what I said earlier about no one's guaranteed a tomorrow, then use that day when you wake up, okay? Be grateful for everything that you have. Be grateful for your life. It starts off with that, right? Because once you start to think about how grateful you are about your life, then you can start telling yourself, I can't wait to start the day. Because the day I'm gonna make hopefully good choices, right? Those choices that you can do to help yourself become better. I talk about this a lot, become better than who you were yesterday, right? And again, that quote stuck with me. It still sticks with me today about becoming better, always better, right? Because there's a scale, right? And it goes from 1 to 10, just say, and you right now are just a fraction of who you can become, right? Just think about this. You excuse me, you could be right now at 3, or you can be at 10, right? And Farhana, if you're thinking about that canvas and painting it, that canvas you're painting is that 10. This is like that destination where you want to be at. Okay? So every single day you're going to start to challenge yourself. You're going to start doing things. You're going to start loving yourself. You're going to start, you need to create that love energy for yourself back into your life, especially when you're dealing with something dark in your life, because it's like you feel like time has stopped for you, right? And then it starts to create this place that you don't want to head towards, right? And that's why I think this painting that canvas for yourself is so crucial, right? And then that way you can start focusing that time that you're giving on a daily basis to really, how I talk about focus a lot. When my basement store, I'm not going to talk about basement store because you guys probably know about it already. And it's about focus, right? Where is your mind focusing on right now? Are you focusing on that life that your mind is telling you that, that today is going to be a horrible day, and then tomorrow is going to be a horrible day, and that, this is just going to be a continuous cycle that's going to go on for like who knows how long, right? Or is it going to be something like, today is actually, yes, maybe I'm feeling that way and it sucks, right? But I remember that, hey, I can make a choice today to make a difference. I can change something today, which is part of my daily routine, right? Because it's all about routine, right? If you feel like your life is boring, if you feel that you're unmotivated, you don't have anything that's pushing you, or there's nothing to look forward to, then there's something. It is a sign that there's something that you need to change in your life right now to make a difference, right? Even if you pulled one of those things out and you put something different in, it's going to change that routine, right? Maybe it'll take you a little bit longer to start figuring out what those things are that you have to start doing on a daily basis to change your routine. But once you start pulling out those things that are making you feel or think that your life isn't great, or it's so dark, once you start pulling those things out and you stop thinking about them, as much as you are, then you're going to start to see a little bit of change, right? And I think when you start to see a little bit of change, a little bit of improvement, then you're going to start to believe that, yeah, you know what? Maybe I can get there. There is a now, instead of it being an impossibility, it's going to become possible for you, because you're going to start to see that there is those steps that you've been taking every single day is starting to make see you're going to you're starting to see a difference, the change, right? I think that's when I started to when I'm going back to the basement again, because when I cleaned that basement, I saw huge changes. Okay, guys, that's when I knew my life was changing. It wasn't waking up in the morning and telling myself, waking up anxious anymore, right? Because when I woke up in that morning, I knew that I had to clean up the basement, which meant that I had something different in my routine, because I chose to do something different, right? I it motivated me, because I knew there was something for me to do. There was something for me that I could challenge myself with, right? And it doesn't have to be for yourself. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to tackle my basement like Roger did or whatever. It could be just something small, right? It could be something you could even start off with a small room in your place, right? And just say, you know what? I'm going to rearrange this whole room, right? Maybe I'm going to even tackle, I could try painting the walls and change the colors of it, and if you don't know how to paint, there's you can find it on YouTube. You could change your own toilet. I learned how to change my toilet on YouTube. But you could do so many things, right? And when you start to bring that into your life, right? Sorry, Roger, breaking it out again. Time's good. Uh-oh. Is it okay now? Chris, you're still here. Cool, okay. I forgot to add. Hey, Norita. Line not clear. Oh no, it's breaking up again. It's hard, however, we need to be strong and have enough patience. But Norita, I'm so glad you joined. Is it breaking up for you guys? Is it okay? Sai, you made it. Oh my gosh, you guys are all here. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. Can you okay, number 1, I'm gonna ask. I forgot to ask. I was gonna ask you before. Can you hear me okay? Number 2, it's not breaking up for Cherry. Sherry, I am late. It's okay, Sai. You made it. You made it. I was gonna message you, but it took me an hour to set up for this thing, and it's been breaking up. But I hopefully for most of the time I've been talking, it's been smooth. Is it okay now, guys? Is it breaking up? Because I do want you guys to hear me talk. I know it sucks when it's like when it starts to freeze. Is it freezing, guys? If you guys can let me know. Unable to hear complete sentences, Roger, is cracking in and out. Okay, Chrissy. That's for Chrissy. Anybody else? You can hear me fine. Anybody else besides Chrissy? Hey, Chrissy, were you able to hear me the past half an hour? Was it okay on your side? And it just recently has been like kind of choppy. How about Bernadette? Bernadette, is it choppy on your end? It definitely is my internet, guys. I have so many devices connected. Is it choppy for you, Sai? Or is it running smooth? You guys are so awesome. It's clear in Orange County, New York. Marianne from New York. I've been there many times. Actually, 3 times. I've been to New York. I've never been to Orange County, New York, but I know my brother lived in Orange County in California. So there's 2, right? But not in New York. But maybe one day I should come and visit. Apologies. Maybe it is Melbourne. Melbourne. Oh man, I'd love to be there right now, Chrissy. Oh man, I heard so many great places. I can hear you clear, and everything's fine. So, Chrissy, oh my gosh, but it was fine, right, Chrissy? Before was it okay before when I was talking to you earlier? Um, okay, just wait a few minutes. Maybe it's gonna get better. You know what? Maybe it's not your connection, but I truly believe that it's mine. Let's just pray that Chrissy gets good reception. Loud and clear on your end. Okay, that's great. Norita, is it okay on your side? Marianne, come on up. We'd love to have you. All right, Marianne. When I'm up in New York, like how far is that to New York City? Because I've been to New York City, but Orange County, I'm not sure how far it is, but I guess it wouldn't matter. Even if I'm in New York City, I'll let you know. And if I'm on Australia, I'll let you know because I love Australia. I want to go there so bad. Like I don't know what it is about Australia. Maybe it's the wildlife there, and the good weather, but Australia, I wanna go. There's so many places I wanna go to, like the Philippines. I have so many followers from the Philippines, and I wanna go there. I wanna go back to Hawaii. If anybody's from Hawaii, I went there once, but, I was only there for a short period of time, but, had a great time. And Europe, I was there, for a week. We would, like, jumped all over the place, but it's just like one day here, one day there. It's just not enough to soak in, what that beautiful place has to offer, like the beautiful food, the beautiful people, and all those things. So hopefully one day I can go visit you guys. That would be just an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, that's not that bad. No, that's definitely not bad. Hope to see you here in the Philippines. Okay, Sai, which part of the Philippines are you at? Because if I go to the Philippines, I'll make sure that that's my first place to go. Sai, which part of the Philippines are you from? I really want to see you, Sai, and give you a big hug. I sent the pic of my shirt on my Instagram page. Okay, so did you send it to? Let me see. Well, I didn't get a message, but if you sent it to me through message through Instagram, then I'll see it on the chat. So I can't wait to see the shirt. The Esmeralda bought Your Mind Matters shirt through Amazon. It was custom made, so I want to see it. And I am going to actually design a new Your Mind Matters shirt, Esmeralda. So as you know, I do have an online store with a bunch of my own designs. So I haven't been working on that recently, but I have been thinking about doing more designs. So hopefully I can do that. Oh, I have a phone case with Your Mind Matters, guys. Look, you guys know already that I do phone cases with Casetify. You'll find the description, the link in this video link if you want to check out my collection. This is another one I have. I flip this around. It's flow like water, and you will find your way through any rock. These are my designs. I designed them myself, but you guys seen them before. So I am in the province of, how do you pronounce that? Iloilo. It's far. Iloilo? Is that right? Iloilo? It doesn't matter how far. I still come see you, Sai. That's how much I love you. I just love and enjoy seeing you, my excellent, awesome friend. Oh, that's so sweet, Esmeralda. Take coffee. Oh, I have a shirt about coffee, and I love my coffee. You guys know that, right? So I did talk a lot about the quote, but since you guys are here and it's only like 10 people here, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. This is the best time to ask me a question for me to respond, because when I do my Facebook lives, it's like I can barely get a chance to answer anyone's questions because there's just so much going in the chat. I'm talking, and so if you have any questions, please leave it, and I would love to chat. I just want to spend the next couple of minutes here just talking as if we were actually here sitting at a table, enjoying my coffee. I have my coffee here. Sai, I know it's probably like morning breakfast for you, right? And New York, Marianne, I think it's the same time, right? 7, yeah, Eastern, right? So it's almost 10 p.m. Oh my gosh. Do you have to work tomorrow, Marianne? I'm so sorry for keeping you up. I know it's like for me, it's like this is like my prime time. This is where I actually start getting most of my work done, because you guys probably know at the time when I usually post. But I haven't eaten dinner yet because I it took me an hour to set up this live, and I was like, should I eat? My mom was making me all this food, and I was like, oh shoot, mom, I can't do it. I have to go live. I'll have to eat dinner later. So, but it's okay. I can eat after. I still have a lot of energy. That's great. I am glad and happy to see your coffee cup. Yes, Farhana. Yes. So I am, because I missed my live on Facebook this weekend. I am going to do it this for Saturday. And if you guys haven't watched my podcast yet, my first podcast, my podcast, you can still watch it here on my channel. It's called Your Mind Matters. And my second, I'm going to be filming my second podcast, so you guys can look forward to that. And I think the podcast is I talk a lot about the mind. I'm going to be talking a lot about the mind, right? Because that's my favorite topic, because I learned so much on how strong your mind is. What is going on up here. It's and I never thought about, I wish I knew about this in my early 20s, about all these things that I learned about like later on in my life. But I guess there's timing for everything, right? I guess would need to experience a lot of things before I can actually go out and start telling people what I learned, right? So if I was like in my teens, just say, and I was telling like everyone, like people in their 30s and 40s about life, I guess, I don't know, would it make a difference, right? Then I was someone that was in their 40s talking about it, because it is true, like the older you get, the more experience this you went through, right? Especially when you're going through anxiety and depression, there's a, so many things you can learn in it, right? And I never thought that you know, I would learn so much about myself, not only about myself, but about life. You know, I had so many questions about life. Like what is it about? Like what can we do? What is my purpose? Is there a purpose? Like what is the main thing about life that we can do to enjoy it to the fullest, right? And then I realized that it all starts with you. That because it is your world, right? You live on Earth, that is our planet, but your world happens to be what's happening in here, inside your mind, right? And once you start fine tuning it and start working around it, and some of the times you're going to have to think outside of the box, because we're so into following what other people do, listening to what other people say. And it distracts us from what we really want to focus on, which is ourselves, which is our true self. What do we really want? What is it that I want to do in my life that makes me happy? Not what they want, what they believe makes me happy, right? Their perspective on on happiness could be completely different than my perspective of what happiness is. What is your happiness, right? It's different. They don't live your life. Right. So if you're in a situation where you have people telling you that, no, this is what you need to do because this person's doing this, doing that, and you're going to be happier. You're going to be way happier doing this. How do they know? Right? Because it's not like your mind is theirs, right? So that's when I realized that I need to. That's why I talk a lot about spending time focusing on yourself, right? Work on yourself every single day. Because even if you don't know what your passion is, even to know if you have what your purpose is, as long as you're focusing on yourself and you're working on yourself every single day, then those things are eventually going to come, right? Because you're going to go through a lot of failures, you're going to go through adversity, but during those times, those dark moments, you're going to figure out what are the things that make you sad and what are the things that are going to make you happy, right? Because when you start to learn how to heal yourself, that is the journey of you know, learning what does make you happy because that happiness is going to heal you at the same time, right? Me too. I've learned a lot from you, Sir Anjali. Oh, thank you so much, Sai. I'm so glad you have, and I'm so glad that if that everyone here on the chat right now that I'm here with you and I'm guiding you, and that it feels like I am a part of your life. That you can wake up in the morning and you can open my page, or if you're on my Circle of Positivity in my Instagram broadcast channel, I send a morning message every morning, or sometimes a quote. So if you're on Instagram, please join my Farhana, I know you're there. And Sai, I know you're there. My Instagram page, and join Circle Positivity, my broadcast channel, because I I love morning messages because if you're used to wake up in the morning and you start and all of a sudden it's like you already pictured your whole entire day, right? You going to work, you dealing with people that you don't want to see, you coming home, having to prepare dinner or whatever, and then going to bed. It's the same cycle over again. You've already created this whole painting of yourself for the whole entire day, right? That you can't even give yourself a time to think about how amazing that day can be, right? However, if you change your mindset and tell yourself the first thing you said, like I said before in the beginning of this live, that number one, be grateful. Number two, you want to start the day and tell yourself that it's going to be an amazing day because you are going to take control of the day. If you have that mindset every single day, can you imagine how different your life is going to be? How much of a change it's going to be, right? It literally is going to change your life, right? And it takes steps. It does. It takes steps to get to that point. It's not like you could be like, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to try it. Okay, today's going to be an amazing day, and all of a sudden, okay, it didn't work, right? It's because you have to prepare yourself to get to that level, right? And that's why I talk a lot about focus and strengthening your mindset, because once you start doing that and you start, learning how to love yourself, it's almost going to happen automatically for you, right? It's because when you start loving yourself, you start loving your life, right? You start appreciating your journey more, right? You start appreciating your life more. Esmeralda. Okay, before I start looking at the chat, can you guys hear me okay? And Chrissy, are you okay? Can you is it lagging? I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure everything is good and smooth before I continue talking. Oh, Esmeralda just says I'm breaking up again. Okay. When the video ends, you can see my pic of my shirt. It looks just like yours. Oh, really? Okay, great. I can't wait to see it. Oh, it's skipping. That means it's skipping a lot for Chrissy too. Sai, is it skipping for you, Sai? You can hear me, but is it skipping? Is it laggy? You know what? You know what? Next time I'm going to do my live, I'm going to make sure that I reset my Wi-Fi so that you guys can hear me okay. It's breaking up. I don't want to leave the chat yet. But I'm gonna give it like a minute or two. Because if it is, then I'll let you guys go. And then actually if you enjoyed today's YouTube session, I'm planning on doing more because sometimes the small crowds are a little bit better. That way it does feel like you're actually in the room with me. Because the one thing that I hate that 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 I think about after I do my lives on Facebook is like, oh my God, I look back and I see, oh my gosh, they said all these beautiful things, or they asked me all these questions and I missed out on it. And I just want to go back and I want to answer the questions. I can't do that because I want to do it live, right? So I'm not able to. Life is what we make it. Pray for guidance and protection. Trust and believe in yourself. That is so beautiful, Bernadette. And it's so true. Bernadette, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay, Bernadette? Oh no, that means I have to end the live net guys now, I think, because it's breaking up. Can you guys hear me okay? Is it laggy? You know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna shut the Wi-Fi off and then turn it back on. And if I do log off, if this ends, then it's gonna end, and I'm gonna catch you on my next live on Facebook, and then I will also catch you live again. I'll probably do another one of these YouTube lives of Inside the Mind of RLQ very very soon as well. Okay, so here it goes. I'm pressing the Wi-Fi button, and if I do, and if this stream ends, thank you so much, guys, for joining. I apologize for the lagging. I'm gonna fix the issue for my next one, but as long as you guys can hear me, it's so cool. Thank you for the opportunity to listen. Thank you, everyone. Marianne, Bernadette, Esmeralda, Cherry, Chrissy, Sai, Shell, who just left, for Hannah, Mary Ann. You guys are so amazing. I know I probably missed some people, but you guys have been here from the beginning. From the beginning, and that means you guys are so true and loyal to my page and to me, and I'm so grateful. So I'm going to it's okay, Bernadette. I'm gonna click this Wi-Fi. I love you, Bernadette, by the way. I'm gonna click this Wi-Fi button. I'm gonna relog and I'll see if it works. Okay, guys. Hold on a second. Give me a 1 second. Okay, guys. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry that this happened because I really didn't want this. I was like, it's either gonna be the voice or it's gonna be a lag. And it so happened to be that it's this. So I don't know why I can't do this. Okay, give me 1 second, guys.